How many times have you heard another team member say this? People just don't call me back. I leave messages and they won't call me back. I say I'm going to follow up and they won't call me back. They tell me to call them next week. They tell me to call them on payday. Why is it that people seem so interested? Why is it that people are like, oh, I definitely need this. I want this for my family. And when I leave a message, they won't call me back. Is that you? Yeah, I'm going to help you today. You may not like it, but I am going to help you today.
We the 3%ers. Yeah. We the 3%ers. Yeah. You gotta know what your word. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk it, we live it. You want it, go get it, then put in that word. We the 3.
Hoorah! And welcome to another episode of 3% Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Steve Wilmer. This is not a therapy session. Get to work or get off my podcast. Let's go. All right, guys. So excited. We always want to start our podcast off with giving shouts out to some team members who are actually implementing, some people who are actually executing on the things that they're learning from our coaching and also from listening to our podcast. And today I want to give a shout out to Amanda. And Amanda is at Eric Cause's agency. So here's a text that we got. Amanda said, I just started the training. She's working with us. She just started the month of July. And she said, this month, I already wrote 10 life apps. 10 life apps in the month of July. Congratulations to Amanda. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We got people that are implementing, people that are executing. No excuses. Like I said, get to work or get off the podcast. All right. Today's episode. Now listen, I'm taking away some excuses today. I am taking away some excuses, but at the same time, I promise you guys, I'm going to give you some things that can be able to help you. Today's episode is about this. How many times have you said, or how many times have you heard another team member say this? People just don't call me back. I leave messages and they won't call me back. I say I'm going to follow up and they won't call me back. They tell me to call them next week. They tell me to call them on payday. And when I leave a message, they won't call me back. Is that you? Yeah, I'm going to help you today. You may not like it, but I am going to help you today. So here's the reason that I had to, because that used to be me, right? But here's the reason that I had to take a look in the mirror and ask myself, why is it that people seem so interested? Why is it that people are like, oh, I definitely need this. I want this for my family. But yet when I reach back out to them, they don't call them back. Here's the reason why. You didn't give them a reason to call you back. Yeah, I know you think the reason was about getting a life insurance policy. People are not going to call you back because nobody wants to buy a policy. You're going to hear me say the same thing over and over again. They want their problem solved. Stop focusing on a problem. So if they're ignoring you, you did not make them feel some type of pain. You did not truly give them a reason to call you back. Don't blame them. Take a deeper look inside yourself. Think about the initial conversation you had and what was it about? Again, was it about a policy? Was it about solving their problem? So today, very quickly, I'm going to go over with you 10 points, like 10 things I thought about. Why is it that people did not call me back initially? So grab something to write with. Let's take some notes, and then let's make sure we're implementing it the way that Amanda did. Here's point number one. You did not create enough curiosity. So in my training, I talk about 6 steps to building a relationship with a customer. I'll go over that later. But one of the steps is curiosity. So the problem is this. Let's talk about voicemails. Now, when it comes to voicemail, there are all different types of voicemails. Obviously, there are different philosophies, if you will, on leaving a voicemail. People always ask me, Steve, what does your voicemail sound like? Well, first off is this. If I call you the first time, I don't even leave a voicemail. All right. I may call you a couple of times. I may call you at different times without even leaving a voicemail. But when you do leave a voicemail, ask yourself, does your voicemail sound like this? Hey, Bob, this is Steve at the John Concise Agency. I'm just calling to follow up on the quote that I gave you. Give me a call back when you have time. If that's what your voicemail sounds like, they're not going to call you back. Number one, you're following up on the quote. We never follow up on a quote. We follow up on the problem that we solve. Number two, you told them what the reason was that you were calling. I'll get a little bit into that here in a second. All right. Hey, Bob, this is Steve with Maggie Alexander Agency. Just calling to discuss your life insurance needs. Once again, you're telling the customer what you're calling them for. And again, you're making it about the product or the policy instead of the problem that you solve. Hope to speak with you soon. Have a nice day. If you called and said that to me, guys, I wouldn't call you back either. Okay? So if that's what you're saying, I want you to delete that from your vocabulary. Stop using or stop leaving voicemails like that. There's no curiosity there. There's no emotion there. There's nothing compelling about them giving you a call back. So instead, I'll give you a couple of things that I used to do. All right. Let's talk about curiosity first. Bob, I found something in your quote. This is talking about auto insurance now, maybe life insurance. But Bob, I found something in your quote that could save you money. You didn't tell them what it was, but hey, I found something I think could save you money. You know what? Hey, Bob, you and I were talking. I found something I think you're really going to love. Hey, Bob, you were in here last week and we were talking about your wife. We were talking about your daughter, Joy. And I've got something, I promise you, you're going to be thanking me for this. Those are the type of voicemails I leave. It's the curiosity. What is he talking about? What did he find? Bob, you and I was talking about your daughter going to college. We were talking, oh, you're going to love this. I got something. Give me a call back. That's the curiosity type voicemail. So start using those type of leaving those type of voicemail. People return calls because they believe they will gain something or they may lose something. Another compelling voicemail. That was gaining something. But what about losing something? So when I would call, I would leave a voicemail. It may sound something like this. Hey, Bob, this is Steve at the John Concise State Farm Agency. I need you to give me a call back. That's it. Just like that. Hey, Steve. Hey, Bob, this is Steve at John Concise State Farm. I need you to give me a call back. So could I lose something? Or, hey, Bob, this is Steve at John Concise State Farm. You need to give me a call back. There's an issue. Okay? So either they're going to gain something or they're going to lose something. Tailor this to your personality. Tailor it to your message. But at the same time, I want you to learn how to either create curiosity, create a voicemail where they can gain something, or leave a voicemail where they can lose something. That can get people to call you back. It's human nature, guys. Here's point number 2. When you do leave a voicemail, you sound like every other insurance agent out there. That's why the people are not calling you back. Consumers receive dozens of sales calls every single day. I get them, you get them. And if you sound like everybody else, if you're not distinguishing yourself as different from the next person, then why would they call you back? So first, you got to fix your tone. Remember this, enthusiasm beats everything. It's not just what we say, guys, it's how we say it. Nobody wants to talk to somebody who's boring, monotone, and just straight across the border there, right? You don't have to have a personality like mine, but you must have a personality. Think about the telemarketers, if you will, when they call you. You know they're reading off of a script. Now, again, nothing wrong with scripts. You're going to always hear me say, right? Professionals use scripts. Amateurs wing it. But the good salespeople, the elite salespeople, the 3%ers, even when we use a script, you don't even know it. So let's make sure we watch our voice inflectuation, our tone when we're leaving these voicemails. So fix your tone. Smile when you're leaving a voicemail because I promise you it comes through when you're talking on the phone. Best producers don't sound rehearsed. Now, you may have been rehearsing in the past. You may be rehearsing in the mirror, but when it comes out, you don't sound rehearsed. Never call and say, I'm following up regarding your insurance needs. Let's make sure we're following up on the problem we solve. I'll give you an example. I never call a customer, like I said, and say, hey, I'm following up on the life insurance quote. Here's my voicemail. Hey, Bob, this is Steve at Concise State Farm. I'm giving you a call back because you told me that it was important to make sure that your family had a roof over their head if you were to die. You told me it was important to make sure they weren't struggling like so many people out there. These are the things you told me what was important to you. You asked me to give you a call back on Friday. I'm giving you a call back. Now, I'll tell you this. Now, first off, don't think for 1 second that I have 100% of the people call me back. I still have people who I believe were going to call me back and they didn't. If I start getting, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to do an episode to talk about being ghosted, and I'm going to tell you a voicemail that I left somebody and it got them to call back. You know what? I'm going to give it to you right now. So listen, I had this one prospect and he was ghosting me, and I was sending him text messages, right? Golly, man, Holy Spirit just bringing so many things to me that I do that I didn't realize I do. Okay, so listen. Don't cut this out. Editors, do not cut this out. I got a couple of things on my mind. First, let me do this. We're going off script here. I got to do what God tells me to do. So ghosting, and then that voicemail. All right, so I had a prospect that was ghosting me. And I so I would call him maybe like 2 or 3 times, and he wasn't answering. And so then I sent him a text one time. I'm sorry, I left a voicemail one time, and I can't even remember his name. Let's say Michael. I was like, "Hey, Michael, this is Steve. At this point, I'm concerned. I mean, have you been kidnapped? Are you okay? Is everything all right? I mean, do I need to send the Marines? I'm a Marine, right? Do I need to send the Marines to look for you? Right? Please let me know what's going on." But again, that's my personality. But guess what? It got him to call me back. But that's my personality. I guarantee you no one else left that type of voicemail. So it goes back to, what are you saying to your customers? Do you sound like everybody else, or are you original? He'll never forget that voicemail. Here's the other thing about voicemails on following up. Now, I can do this in text message, or I can do this if I leave an actual voicemail. I don't keep following up like, hey, this is Steve at Concise State Farm. You were telling me this, da. Sometimes I'll just leave a voicemail with a testimonial. You hear me? I'll leave a voicemail with a testimonial. Hey, Bob, this is Steve at Concise State Farm. I know it's been a while since we spoke. You were on my mind because I just heard about somebody who passed away with this situation. We just had somebody who died. You told me that you worked over here, and I saw something on television that reminded me. So I'll give like stories about simple things that I saw that may resonate with them as well. I'll also leave voicemails talking about something that has nothing to do with insurance. So here's what's coming to mind. So I like the Florida Gators. If I have a customer who's an Alabama fan or a prospect who's an Alabama fan, I'll call and leave a voicemail about Florida and Alabama. Or I may leave, hey, I saw Nick Saban retire, or hey, I saw this. Has nothing to do with insurance. That's that relationship, right? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So when you talk to your prospects, when you talk to your customers, is it all about insurance and nothing but insurance? Or can you show them that you have a personality, that you can talk about other things that have nothing to do with insurance? Family, kids, cars, the weather, vacation, whatever it is. I challenge you to call a prospect that you found something out about, where y'all connected, and leave a voicemail or send a text message that has nothing to do with insurance. It shows you're human. All right, let's get to the next point. Point number 3 is you either called too soon or you called too late. Oh my goodness, calling too soon. If the dude said, call me next week, don't call him the next day. If she said, follow up with me in 2 weeks, don't call her back in 1 week. Do what they told you to do. Don't sound desperate. And don't call too late. If I say call me in 2 weeks, don't call me in 4 weeks. That's how a lot of you are losing customers. You're not calling them back when they told you to. Get yourself a system. Now, I'm old school. So my system for follow-up, why am I talking about follow-up, God? My system for follow-up is I had it's kind of like an accordion folder. And in that folder, it had days. It had like the number 1 through the number 31. So this is how I knew to follow up with people specifically. If I met with you today and we had a conversation and you said, call me back in 2 weeks, I would take a note, a little 4x6 index card, 3x5 index card, and I'd write the information on it, your name, your phone number. On the back of the card, I would write details, the conversation, the kids' names, something we discussed. That's like a memory jogger. So if we meet, let's say today's the 1st, you said 2 weeks. I would take that card, I'd go to, let's say, August the 14th, and I'd take that card, boom, and I'd drop it in August the 14th. Why? I'm so busy. I know for a fact I'm going to forget to call you back unless I have that memory. So think about this. Every day when I get into the office, the very first thing I do, it's called MMAs, money making activities. I don't check my voicemail. I'm not calling underwriting back. I'm not doing any administrative stuff. I'm not even checking my emails because those type of things would get me bogged down. First thing I do is MMAs, money making activities. What's going to bring money into the agency? What's going to put money in my pocket? I do that first before I start doing admin things. So I get into the office, I go to the 14th, and I look at the 4 or 5 cards I have on the 14th. And I go, oh, that's right. I was supposed to call Bob back today. Now, who is Bob? That's Bob. Oh, that's right. We talked about this. We talked about that. Let me flip that over. Oh, Alabama fan. Oh, LSU fan. Oh, we talked about vacation and whatever the case may be. That was my reminder. And then when I give Bob the call, what does the conversation sound like? It may be insurance, and it also may be something else. So again, I'm old school. That's how I did. But you got to have a follow-up system. This is what's going to help get customers to be able to call you back. So, like I said, you either call too soon or you call too late. So make sure that you create your follow-up system, and make sure when you're leaving those messages, guys, it's a different message every time. Nobody wants to hear calling to follow about the life insurance, calling to ask you about the life insurance. Hey, calling to see if you want the life insurance. Hey, let's get this life insurance started. I wouldn't call you back either. Get a personality. Point number 4, every follow-up sounds exactly the same. So that's why I say you got to make sure you're mixing it up, you're leaving different messages, and you're checking in about something that has nothing necessarily to do with the insurance. Curiosity, right? I found another option. I discovered something that you're really going to like. I make big, bold promises. Like I'll call a prospect and I'll say things like, Bob, this is Steve at John Concise State Farm. You got to give me a call back, bro. I promise you, you're going to be thanking me after this. That's it. Something that simple. I'm going to be your best friend after this. I guarantee it. Give me a call back. Hey, Bob, you're going to be singing my praises after this. I promise you. Give me a call back. Hey, Bob, trust me, bro. You're going to be telling everybody about me. Give me a call back. So my messages are different every single time. Point number 5. You're asking for too much. Call me back, Steve. Call me back, Bob, so we can go over everything. Hey, Bob, call me back. I got this big proposal I want to sit down with you and I want to talk about. Hey, Bob, call me back. That way you can come into the office and we can spend all this time going to... You're doing too much. I sound like my kids. My kids be like, bro, you're doing too much. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. Customers want things taken care of quickly. They want it taken care of concisely. So what I do is I take all the work off of them. I'm not telling them, meet with me. We got all this paperwork. I make everything short. Meet with me. We're going to have you out of here before you know it. It's going to be a couple of minutes. We're going to get you on the road and get you out of here. I just got a couple of questions to ask you, and then you'll be out of here. People don't like the work. So don't make the customer feel like when they meet with you, it's going to be this whole blown out thing. When you're leaving those messages and you want them to call you back, let them know how quick it's going to be. Let them know how concise it's going to be. Let them know they're going to be in and out before they even know it. Don't give them a lot of work. Point number 6. You can say that you're different, but do they believe that you are different? It goes back to what I was saying before. We have a training system called the Your World Conversation. And in the Your World Conversation, that's our insurance financial review. process, which I never use those words, but to give you an idea what we're talking about, right? In the Your World conversation, the first part of the conversation says we're a little different from other companies. We help people manage their everyday risk. And then we give an example, because it's one thing to tell everybody you're different. It's a whole nother ball game when you can prove that you are different. So they don't believe you're different. So what you have to do is you have to show them that you're different. So I'll give an example. We tell a story. So how to position yourself for being different. Number one, it's position. It's about moving from the customer seeing you as a quoter, like quote me cheap insurance. Give me a life insurance quote. Hey, I want to get a quote. I'm going to see how much this costs. That's how most insurance agents and team members act. We are risk advisors. We go from being a quoter to being a risk manager, to advising or recommending to the customer. So step number one is you must position yourself as a risk manager. How do you do that? I don't sell insurance. What do? I help people manage their everyday risk. We're a little different from other companies. We help people manage their everyday risk. Maybe I have a customer who's been with me for a year, and I'm going to say, hey, Bob, since the last time we've met, we have made a huge and exciting change in our agency. We're more of a risk manager now. We help people manage their everyday risk. Number one is you position yourself as a risk manager. Here's number two. You got to give an example. And the best way we love to give an example is with a story. So I'll give you two quick stories. After I say we're a little different from other companies, we help people manage their everyday risk, then I give a story. I give an example. We have a customer, nice guy, smart guy. He works for the state. He's at the grocery store one day backing out of a spot, and right next to him there was a lady putting up her grocery cart who had a 3-year-old daughter who wandered away. And our customer backed up and hit that little girl. And the medical bills were $450,000. And our customer, he was sued for $450,000. But about 2 years before that happened, we recommended that he have a lawsuit protection policy. So guess what? We paid the whole $450,000. But if he didn't have that in place, he would have spent all of his savings. He would have probably had to dip into his 401k. He would have filed for bankruptcy. He would have went into debt. They probably would have garnished some of his paycheck. But like I said, we paid the whole $450,000. So here's my question to you, Bob. What if that were you backing out of that spot that day? And what if you hit that little girl and you were sued for $450,000? Now be honest with me. How much of that $450,000 would you want for me to pay? What do you think Bob would say? What would you say? Everybody says the same thing. I want you to pay all of it. Exactly. That's what all of my customers say. But in order for me to do that for you properly, I'm going to have to ask you just a few personal questions. But I promise you that once we're done, you're going to have a better picture of what your world looks like. Does that make sense? Position, story. And the third way is simplicity. And that is when you actually sit down with your customers and you have that your world conversation. So you can tell an auto story, a P&C story, a fire story. I was going to give you a life insurance story. I'm not going to go into the life insurance story, but I just want to give you an example of how you position yourself as a risk manager by using those three things. And by the way, the conversation, the Your World conversation, was just approved to be taught by the number one, the largest P&C company in the nation. And also our Your World conversation, we had it trademarked. So you can't even use the conversation unless you're a client of the Risk Advisor Institute. So again, point number 6, they don't believe you're different. You're saying you're different, but you are not proving that you are different. So do something to prove it. Remember those 3 points. Point number 7, you never ask their preferred communication method. Now I tell you, this was my issue when I first started. I'm old school. You're going to hear me say that over and over again, right? So I like to be communicated with through text message or a phone call. My email, it bogs me down. Okay? Letters in the mail, stop sending me letters in the mail. But if you don't know that about me, you may send me an email. It's going to get deleted. If I don't know what your preferred method of communication is and I communicate in a different way, it's going to get deleted. It's going to get ignored. So don't make the same mistake that I made. If somebody asks you to follow up, ask, how do you want me to do that? How do you like to be reached out to? Is it email? Is it phone call? Is it text message? Whatever the case may be. Now, we know that emails are easy to ignore. So I'll do two things. If you told me email, then what I'll do is I'll shoot you an email because you told me that was your preferred method. And then I'll shoot you a quick text. Hey, Bob, Steve at John Concise State Farm. Listen, just sent you an email. Look forward to speaking with you. Okay? So let's make sure we're finding out what their preferred communication is, because maybe they missed it, maybe they deleted it. I'm telling you, you send me an email, it may get deleted. You put something in the mail, I hate junk mail. Oh my goodness. It's going to get lost, it's going to get thrown away. So another reason they're not calling you back, you can communicate with them the way they want you to communicate with them. It's something, now I'm really getting off on this, right? Taking a turn here. The 5 love languages. God, what are you doing here? It just reminds me how insurance and marriage goes together, right? When my wife and I first got married, there's a book. For those of you out there who are married, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. And what it does is it teaches you how to communicate with your partner the way they want to be communicated with. Now, I'm not going to go through all 5 love languages, but I'll give you an example. My love language is acts of service. Listen to me, if you are married, you want to get this book, and you and your spouse want to read this book. I promise you, I guarantee it's going to help your marriage. So I'll talk to you about our 2. My love language is acts of service. It's the way I communicate love to my wife. I do things for her. I may wash the car. I may wash the clothes. I may bring her something. I may fix her a cup of coffee. It is acts of service. That's how I communicate with her that I love her. Well, her love language is physical touch. She's always rubbing on me. She'll walk by. She'll scratch my head or something like that. She wants to be held onto. She wants to be hugged. Right? And that's not my love language, but that's her love language. And that's how she communicates love to me. So here's the problem. I was doing stuff for her because that's my love language, but she wasn't reciprocating. So I'm like, why she don't love me? She was touching me, rubbing my arms, rubbing my back, my shoulders, right? But I wasn't doing the same thing to her. She was going, why doesn't he love me? It wasn't until we read the book that we truly understand how each of us show love. And once we learned that, then we started communicating our love to one another in their specific love language. So it don't matter about me making her a cup of coffee. She understands it. She appreciates it. She much rather me just rub her on her back. All right? It doesn't necessarily matter to me that she would rub me on my back. She knows when I sit down, oh, she made me a cup of coffee. Oh my God, thank you, baby. I appreciate that. So it's important for you guys to start communicating with each other in their specific love language. Same thing with insurance. How does the customer want to be communicated with? That's another reason they may not be calling you back. Holy Spirit just took a whole 180 on that one, didn't it? But let's be honest. In my opinion, a great marriage is a lot more better and a lot even more important than what you and I are talking about right here. All right? So let's get those marriages strong. By the way, listen, God, Lord, what are you doing? This is taking a complete 180 from insurance. There's a gentleman by the name of Words Taylor. You can go look him up. Words Taylor, amazing. And Words works with some amazing people. Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher. But Words has a podcast. He has a program where he and his wife help marriages. They help strengthen marriages. You want to look him up. That's not something I do. Okay, I'm just giving you a quick testimony about me and my wife, Erin. But if you're in a marriage and you are struggling in the marriage, you and your husband, you and your wife, you want to have a stronger marriage. Number one, you got to have God at the center of your marriage. Okay, got to have God at the center of your marriage. But go look up Words Taylor, because that's what his podcast is all about, is helping strengthening marriages. I know I took a 180, guys, but I had to do that. Got to do what the Holy Spirit tells me to do. Come on, let's bring this to an end. All right. Point number 8. Why are people not calling you back? You did not build trust during the first conversation, and this is huge. Does the customer see you as somebody who's simply trying to earn a commission? Do they feel like you have commission breath? And commission breath is like bad breath. Woo! Right? When somebody has bad breath, you don't want to talk to them. When somebody has commission breath, you don't want to talk to them. They feel like you just in this to make a commission. You don't care nothing about them. You don't care nothing about their family. You don't care nothing about their situation. When I talk to customers and even prospects, I ask questions. You know that. But I'll ask deeper questions and I'll also share with them. So let's say if I'm having a conversation with you and you say I'm married, I don't just stop there. No kidding. How long you been married? What's your spouse's name? No kid. How'd you guys meet? Really? Man, my wife and I, Aaron, we've been married for 28 years. How many kids you got? No kidding. I got 4 kids. We got boys, girls. Who's the oldest? What's their names? Really? I got 4. My kids are Judah, Josiah, Joy, and Jana. Between you and I, which kid do you like the best? I know you love them all. Come on, but who's your favorite? Let's be honest. Who's your favorite? Or I'll tell you right now, my favorite, it's my youngest daughter. Her name's Jana. The problem is this. She's the favorite and she knows she's the favorite. I mean, she be bossing us around. Everywhere me and Aaron go, she be texting us and calling us, where y'all at? Where you going? I'm like, hey. I'm is the daddy. I'm is the father. You don't ask me what. You need to be home at a decent hour. I'm like, who you think you talking to? I share this with customers. Why? Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Does your customer or prospect trust you? Do they even know you? Or do they just feel like, hey, you're just trying to earn a commission? That's why they're not calling you back. They don't know nothing about you. So you got to make sure that you build that trust. If you rush through the conversation, if you make it all about the doggone the sale, and they don't believe they can trust you, they don't believe that you have their best interest at heart, guys, they're not going to call you back. Point number 9, why people are not calling you back. Ooh, this is a good one. I remember this one. You're talking to the wrong people. They weren't your, how do I say, they weren't your ideal customer to begin with. So that's why they're not calling you back. So here's a painful lesson. Everybody does not deserve your time. You're wasting your time with the wrong people. So that's why they're not calling you back. Some people wanted information. Some people wanted a free quote. Some people wanted just to compare prices, but some of them had zero intention from buying from you in the beginning. That's why they're not calling you back. And unfortunately, some of that may have to do with how you opened up the conversation in the first place. So stop confusing activity with productivity. Team members will say to me all the time, I talked to X amount of people today. I sent out a bunch of quotes. I was on a call maybe two or 3 days ago with a team member. They're struggling with life insurance. And he said to me, I sent out like 14 quotes, Steve. I sent out 14 quotes. I got a lot of stuff in the process. I said, how many sales have you made? I haven't made any, but I sent out 14 quotes. Oh, so again, you're confusing activity with productivity. 14. I understand you have to quote the insurance. I get it. When I hear somebody say, I sent out 14 quotes, I made zero sales. Yeah, you're saying something wrong. You're doing something wrong. You may just be sending out a quote like, hey, can I quote your life insurance? Yeah, let me send you a quote. And then you come back to the office or you tell myself or you tell the agent like you did something. You ain't did nothing. What kind of conversation are you having with the customer? I can send out quotes all day long. Quote, 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 quote. Eventually something will hit. Eventually. But all of that activity without developing your skill set, without being productive, it's nothing. You're wasting your time. So stop confusing activity with productivity. Here's point number 10. Last point, I got to get out of here, guys. The conversation was about insurance instead of consequences. Consequences. Team members, for some reason, don't want the customer to feel any consequences, but they have to. 82% of people buy things based on emotion, not logic. You're trying to have a logical conversation with your prospect, and you're not talking about consequences. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. Bob, if you don't leave your family this money, they can end up losing the house. And then where are they going to live? How are they going to pay these bills? Bob, if you don't make this sacrifice, your family's going to struggle to make the mortgage payment next month. Bob, if you don't leave this money, your daughter may not be able to go to college. Or if she does go to college, now she's got to have a bunch of student loan debt. Why? Because you weren't willing to sacrifice $25 a week. How does that make you feel? Why are people afraid to be open and honest with their customers and prospects? Stop focusing so much on the product and start talking about you do realize there are consequences when somebody dies and they leave their family with no money, no life insurance. You do realize there's consequences, right? So why are you not discussing the consequences? I literally would have team members say to me, I don't want to make the customer feel bad. Have you lost your mind? What do you mean you don't want to make them feel bad? Do you realize you've got to do the right thing? And here's the right thing. You've got to be open and honest. Can you imagine going to a doctor, being diagnosed with some type of disease, and the doctor not telling you the truth because they didn't want to make you feel bad? You would be so upset. You would be outraged. I would venture to say that you would even sue that doctor for everything that he or she owns, because it's their job to deliver bad news and give you a treatment plan. That's how you got to start talking about it. You got to be able to deliver the news, the bad news, and then come up with a treatment plan. Bob, here's the bad news. Right now you have no life insurance at all, which means your family's not going to receive any money when the day comes and you leave this earth. You could die tonight, you could die tomorrow, you could have died last night. And the bills are still going to be paid month after month, year after year. But if they don't have any money to pay those bills, then what are they going to do? I mean, sitting here right now, how does that make you feel? You've got to be able to deliver that type of news and then come up with a treatment plan. But don't worry about it. I've got a plan. You tell me if this plan works. If you were to sacrifice $40 a week, would you agree we all waste about $40 a week on things that don't even matter? But if you were to sacrifice $40 a week, my agent John's going to pay off the house. He's going to send the kids to college. He's going to make sure they have a monthly income month after month, year after year, to make sure they're not struggling to pay the bills like so many families out there. Does that make sense? And then the person says, yeah, I get that, but $40 a week, that's a lot. No problem. How close to $40 can you get? Can you do about $20 a week? Yeah, because now for $20 a week, I won't be able to do the entire $1 million, but $500,000, would you agree that's better than nothing? Am I right or wrong? So you got to make them feel some type of consequences for them not moving forward. All right, team, that is it for today's episode. Now, here's your challenge. I want you to take your voicemail. I want you to take your follow-up text, the email, however you're communicating with your customers, and I want you to read every one of them out loud. As a matter of fact, you should probably get somebody to help you with it and read it to them so they can hear what your voicemail sounds like. And then I want you to ask a very important question to yourself. If somebody left me this voicemail, would I call them back? And if the answer is no, fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it. Let's make sure that you start doing something different. All right, guys, I probably went a little bit longer today. I know I put that marriage thing in there right in the middle, but hey, I'm always going to do what God tells me to do, what the Holy Spirit tells me to do. It's a big reason of where we are today with the company, with our success. So don't discount the Holy Spirit when you're at your office. All right, agents and team members, This has been your mindset shift for the week. Now, get to work or get off my podcast. Hoorah!
We the 3%ers. Yeah. We the 3%ers. Yeah. You gotta know what your word. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk and we live it. You want it, go get it and put in that word.